You got a cold open, right?
I do have a cold open.
Are you charming for the people? Yeah, we're live now.
Are we live yet?
We in the countdown now.
Oh, we're in the countdown. Hell yeah. They can probably hear us in the background.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we just, this is before the show.
I have a new coworker, and he said that our HH logo looks very similar to the House of Highlights logo.
I had that thought like an hour after I made it. I was like, why is this so similar to something I feel like I've seen?
And he told me, he was like, that looks like House of Highlights. And I was like, yeah, it does.
But when I go to their channel, House of Highlights, they changed their logo from what it once was.
Did they?
It's just one H now.
I haven't been on their channel in a long time.
Yeah, it's one of those channels that like I only follow during football season because I don't care about all the basketball highlights or all the, there's
my boy Rojas is in there.
Rojas. So there you are.
Yeah.
Oh, we got Brian.
Brian, what's up, Brian?
Hell yeah.
If y'all can hear us, I see you. I see you, Spencer. I see you, Brian.
We have music, don't we? Yeah, we do.
Do we have music?
We do. It's very soft and subtle.
In our Discord.
Yep, I'll put it on Bookface.
Bookface.
At Spencer and I are back.
Brian says if we can wait till we talk about the Ducks at like the 15-minute mark, he's got a 5-minute meeting.
No, that's
Brian,
fine.
Just for you.
It's gonna be a later show thing. Anyways. We got to talk about first. We got to talk about Scott Frost.
We do got to talk about Scott Frost and about how he might not have a job anymore.
Hey man, it's just game one. Let's not too overreact.
I'm gonna tell you about a stat when we get here in a second, and you'll understand why I'm talking about it.
Time for me to post to Facebook, which I do maybe like once every 3 months.
Tag me in the post.
Oh, yeah, but that's good. It must have went through.
Teddy done liked it all.
He immediately reacted to it.
Teddy, come on, bro. Where you at?
Hey, man, I hope you're impressed with it. So this is a new year, obviously. We got a new setup. As you can see, we got a new logo. We got a new countdown.
What you call it is nice. This like neon light aesthetic. I like this shit.
Yeah, man. It's the new wave. That's the modern podcast look.
Mm-hmm. Hey man, let's do a podcast is the 2010s version of Hey man, let's start a band.
Yeah, man, and I don't know what it's going to be in 10 years from now.
Both rocking the Alpine yellow, I see.
Oh, hell yeah. They can't see it yet, but we'll show them.
They'll be here in a minute. Once they get here.
We should have made a topic list. I did get together our little our spreadsheet for our games. That way we can be held accountable this year.
Good. We should do something about that. It says there's 4 people in the chat, but I only see Brian and Spencer. I'm one of the 4 because I always pull it up right here.
Yeah.
So we got 3 people besides me.
Let me go over here and turn this off. That way I can not have to stress about that.
Pitt, West Virginia is on.
Oh, the backyard.
Last I checked, it was
backyard brawl, baby. We got 10 seconds.
10 seconds.
Looks different on your end, but we got 10 seconds, baby. Oh, yeah.
What's going on, folks? It's the best time of the year, Daryl.
It is.
We get to do this on a weekly basis, and then we get to watch 10 hours of college football on Saturday.
Yes, sir.
So, Daryl, I have a bit of a story to tell you.
This isn't a cold open, by the way. You like said hello. A cold open is defined as cold. Like you put that shit in the microwave. It's very warm now.
Anyway, so I was walking through my neighborhood the other day.
Tell me more.
And I saw a crowbar, and I've never seen so many drunk birds in my life.
All right, thank you for joining us. It's been a good show. Thank you. It's been a good year, honestly. We're wrapping it up after that. I just realized I got the thing crooked here. Let me fix the bars.
The thing crooked.
Also, we got Teddy in the chat. What's going on, Teddy? Good to see you, my man.
Teddy's here, my boy.
How you doing? Oh shit! Let me hit undo on that shit. Okay. I'm breaking the shit on the first stream. Well, welcome to what is sure to be a beautiful year of college football. It honestly got started off with a bang, man. I don't know how much you caught of the Nebraska and Northwestern game. It was a game.
The whole game, my boy.
It was a game that obviously we will be talking about more in detail. What the hell is Scott Frost doing? Why are we doing an onside kick? But my guy, if there was a game to kick off college football this year, it had to be that. We were in Ireland. There was free beer, if I heard that right. They had a cup train
because
going on.
Because the registers went down, they had to get the beer out for free.
Which is the most serendipitous, beautiful thing that could possibly happen.
Peak. If you're telling me there's a college football game going on in Ireland, and then you tell me that there's free beer, yeah.
Yes.
I'm there.
I thought it was the. I'm gonna see if I can find this. I thought I already had it pulled up, but Northwestern game. I want to see if I can find. So I can share this because I can't find it. That's infuriating. I bet I can find it this way.
But yeah, it's
you're supposed to fill space while I look this up. Here we go. Found it.
It's the best time of the year, people.
Yeah, it really is, man. And like I say, yeah, amazing that this would happen. So the registers went down. I guess that's the story. You had this giant train, and it was a good game too. That was what really excited me about it, was the fact that it was like actually a really enjoyable game to watch. It was extremely back and forth. It was a lot of fun.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
What's up?
I bought into the Nebraska hype a little bit, and I thought Nebraska was just gonna walk.
Well, everybody did in that first quarter, man.
Yeah, Nebraska's offense came out firing, and then Casey Thompson was making plays in that first half, and that one crazy play he had, and I was like, okay, but Northwestern kept right with him.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and then Northwestern took over the game at one point.
So let's just get this out of the way then. Do you think Scott Frost is dead meat at this point? Do you think it's over?
Oh, he's done after this year. It's over with.
You think if they win out now, that he's still gone? You think there's no way? You think there's no way he can save himself?
No. They'd have to make and win the Natty for him to save himself. And even then, I'm not positive.
So what if they go, I don't know. What if they go like 7-5, but they get an upset like against Ohio State? Do you think that's enough? Do you think they beat Michigan? Do they beat Ohio State? No. You think they beat both? There's no way, really?
No.
See, I'm I'm not off that train necessarily just yet. And here's why.
Let me tell you
Go ahead.
Let me tell you these numbers. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. Anyway, Bo Pelini was fired from Nebraska as their head coach after going 67 and I want to say it was like 20 something, like 67 and 27 or something like that. Scott Frost is 15 and 30 right now. If Scott Frost won his next 50 games in a row, he would have a worse record at Nebraska than Bo Pelini did.
I did see that stat, and that was discouraging. But the difference between a lot of those losses, and I'll still defend them a little bit on this, is that how many of them? There's like 22 of them that were by one possession.
Of them were by one score.
One score. And it's interesting, right? Because
you know what the difference between Nebraska and winning teams is at that point? Is winning teams wins one-score games.
Yes, I agree. And it's one of those things, it's not a coincidence, it's obviously a pattern for it to be happening that much. I will tell you this, another thing that I saw in this game, it's early in the year, we're going to see what happens. I think at some point they start, something changes, right? In my mind, something eventually changes to where they can start picking up some wins. I don't know. I don't think it's going to be this huge thing where they come back and win a big bowl game or anything like that. But I do think it is possible for them to redeem themselves and get some bigger wins this year. Casey Thompson looked good on a certain couple of drives. He had some nice throws, but honestly, he looked exactly like he did last year at Texas. Man, it was great first half, folding second half, and I think honestly it's a mental thing. I think at this point he's to where play well because he can play well, but in the second half, if the defense is not putting him in a comfortable position, he's forcing throws. Like he had 3 picks in that fourth quarter.
Yeah,
he's trying to do too much.
Also,
he had the one Johnny Manziel play and got away with it. I don't know if you saw that or not. Whenever he had the crazy,
I was watching it live. That play was ridiculous.
Held onto the ball for like 11 seconds, finally let it loose, and of course, somebody's open because all the defense is like, that's a sack, right? One wide receiver is always going to get open, but. Yeah. Flashes of greatness.
We have 9 people in the chat right now. Look at us.
Oh, damn it! I got.
Most of them are probably my coworkers.
Love to see it.
But
is it you I've got to scooch over? Yeah, there we go. Okay, I got it fixed.
Anyway,
well, if you're new here, welcome to the show. This is the this is the multiple
podcast.
This
here
is the
on the Hashbrowns and Hashmarks YouTube channel.
This is the as many names as we can possibly fit into the title show. So welcome.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
one
right
thing
now,
I noticed is that Northwestern's offensive line was blowing Nebraska off the ball.
Well,
every single play.
And we were texting about that a lot.
Hull. They couldn't stop that running back. And Ryan Helinski might be the real deal. Like my hype about like a random Big Ten team has flipped from Nebraska to Northwestern because Northwestern might be.
Well, and I think honestly, what it was is the fact that they were able to run the ball, like the fact that they were able to get the fact that they were able to get such a push early on in so many of those plays. The secondary had to come down. A lot of those tackles that were being made to prevent some of those longer runs was the secondary. Like linebackers were missing tackles. The D-line wasn't getting enough push. The secondary was having to crash down a lot of those plays, and when that happens, you're going to leave guys open.
Yeah, and then they couldn't stop 26. And he ran all over him.
Exactly. So when that type of thing happens, so keep an eye on Northwestern. I mean, maybe this is a case where Nebraska is actually pretty good, except Northwestern just that much better.
If you look at the recent history of Northwestern, they do really good in years that are even. In 2018, they made the Big Ten championship. 2019, they sucked. 2020, they made the Big Ten championship. 2021, they sucked. It's 2022. So
hey.
The last 4 years they've been
the twos are with them, bro.
It's an even year, so
yeah. I was gonna say it's like the old joke, like they can't even, but they actually can't odd. Apparently, they can even quite well, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. I like their new uniforms. I know it's a little early to be getting to like a uniform of the week type beat, but Northwestern changed their uniforms. They used to have. Northwestern was one of the first teams to put shoulder stripes. It's like shoulder stripes is a big thing to them. That's a thing in their program. And their jerseys, they had the numbers, but then they had their stripes behind the numbers. And it was always kind of fuzzy looking, like you couldn't really see it. But now they've changed it to just a more basic jersey without those lines behind it. And I think they look so sharp. That purple and white and black that they wear looks really good.
It does look really, really nice. I was really happy with just the presentation of Northwestern as a team. They looked extremely good, especially really considering they had, I don't know if you noticed or not, but they had the Ireland hats as well.
They had the Ireland flag on their logo.
They had the Ireland flag on there.
Cool.
That was a nice little touch. And, of course, you have the little United States flag with the Ireland flag. And, of course, here's their uniforms for the year. But, yeah, man, they look sharp. The program looked good. I saw a coach. And that's one of those things, right? This is if you're a fan of Nebraska, if you're watching this Northwestern game, I forget the name of the coach for Northwestern, but you're seeing him on the sidelines getting excited, getting fired up. It's sort of a similar situation to, I feel like, the Cowboys for a long time, watching Jason Garrett just kind of clap whenever something happened. I feel like Nebraska fans have to be getting fed up with like Scott Frost just kind of on the sidelines like doing this, like he doesn't really show a lot of energy.
I heard an excellent thing about Scott Frost. Look at any picture of Scott Frost. He always looks like he just caught a little whiff of something that smells bad. Just a whiff. Go look up at any picture of Scott Frost right now. He always looks like he just caught something that smells bad, and his brain is trying to process what he should do. Should he turn to look? Should he like take a deeper whiff? Like he always looks like he just caught, like you walk by a trash can and like there's something bad in it, and he just caught it on his nose. Every picture of him looks like that, and I can't unsee it now.
He does have that. His face is like, hang on, let me just go back. His face is like, I can't.
It looks like if he had a baby and he's trying to figure out if its baby has pooped in its diaper.
He's like, did he grab his pants? Should I change the diaper? Do I hand him? What do we do here? Does it stink? I think I'm actually kind of like that smell a little bit. I can't decide. He does have that look on his face where he's like constantly just,
trying to figure out if something smells bad.
Even here,
like
when he's
just cracked his refrigerator and there's a pack of chicken that he left in there a little too long, and then he closed the door real quick because he had to do something, but he caught it, and he's like, "What is that?"
And even in this picture, like when he's like halfway kind of smiling, he's kind of like he's smiling, but doesn't want to open his mouth too much because he doesn't want to catch too deep of a whiff of it,
Yeah.
Oh, Scott Frost. I gotta hit the button so he can see us again.
He should have stayed at UCF, bro.
He had it made there, man. National championship. Whoo.
He won a national championship.
Hey, he did. What can we say?
I mean, look.
It's not going to happen.
On TikTok, everybody said everybody's got their own personal record book, and he was like, in my record book, UCF's got a national championship. And I was like, me too, buddy.
Well, let me tell you something. He's not going to get one up in Lincoln. I'll tell you that much. It doesn't matter how many Dakotas he signs. It doesn't matter how many transfers from Texas he signs. Now, here's what I'll tell you, man. Again, Nebraska looks like a team that could have it all, right? They've got the publicity. They have the fans. The fan base is immaculate. You have Casey Thompson, who, as we've seen, can make some incredible plays. And then you have that tight end. You have the big tight end whose name Vokalek, I believe, is his last name. Mm-hmm. A big boy, definitely going to play on Sundays one day. Tight ends, as you know, are a huge part of NFL offenses. This guy's going to make a lot of money one day. You like the matchup. I mean, it's one of those guys that's so hard to cover,
LSU transfer guy Trey Palmer playing wide receiver. He looked good too.
100%.
They needed to get him the ball more. They threw him the ball a lot in the first quarter and then kind of didn't.
I think another big part was, I think another thing was they started panicking towards the end, and they didn't really run the ball a lot more around the sides. There was a lot up the middle, but not a whole lot going left. They didn't really run left and right. They didn't do a lot of screens. It was sort of like run up the middle, then a basic throw. There was not a lot of mix. And I think that was what kind of shut things down.
You know who Casey Thompson reminds me of a little bit?
Who that?
Is Bo Nix.
Yeah.
Casey Thompson and Bo Nix are one of those quarterbacks where if they're on,
right,
they're really good.
Yeah.
But if they're not on, it's like, what are you doing, bro? Like,
I don't know, man. I've seen Casey Thompson look good in just about every game he's played. It's just that he has a hard time finishing. And again, I think a lot of that is obviously coaching, of course. Like, I think in his defense, I think they win this game, or at least make it much closer if you don't do that onside kick, Yeah,
I mean, I literally predicted Nebraska to win 28-17, and when they did that onside kick, it was 28-17. And I was like, please let this score hold, because I'm going to look like a genius when we do the show.
Hell yeah.
And then here comes Northwestern. Mm-hmm. Handed off 26, and he won you the game.
A couple score updates for you. Central Michigan and Oklahoma State, Cowboys and Central Michigan. In the first quarter, they were tied 7-7, so it was looking kind of scrappy for a minute. And all of a sudden,
Central Michigan about to do it to Oklahoma State again.
Well, Oklahoma State is now up 37-7, so you can probably kiss that one goodbye. The backyard brawl going on right now. We got West Virginia and Pitt, which, by the way, I happened to see. I wanted to talk about this very briefly. But there was I don't know how much first of all, I'll give you the score. Right now it's 7-3 in the second quarter. Very close game. Actually looking very similar. That was the last score.
First quarter I watched, the defenses are playing right
Defenses are playing very well. From what I saw, West Virginia, actually, the way they scored is they had one big explosive run up the middle, and because they were kind of gun shy trying to protect the run, they got a one-on-one matchup. They won it, and I don't know the quarterback's name. Pretty pass to the back of the end zone. JT Daniels, gorgeous.
Funny storyline about the quarterbacks in this game. 3 years ago, 2019, JT Daniels and Keaton Slovis, starting quarterbacks for West Virginia and Pitt, respectively, are both at USC. Mm-hmm. They both split starting time. Keaton Slovis gets the starting job at USC. JT Daniels transfers to Georgia, plays there for 2 years, wins a national championship last year, but he lost the starting spot to Stetson Bennett. He transfers to West Virginia. Keaton Slovis, Caleb Williams from Oklahoma transfers to USC with Lincoln Riley. Keaton Slovis transfers to Pitt. The offensive coordinator at Pitt, Graham Harrell, former Texas Tech quarterback, used to be the offensive coordinator at USC and is now the offensive coordinator at Pitt with Keaton Slovis. 2 former USC quarterbacks quarterbacking either side of a rivalry that hasn't been played in 11 years. It's pretty great. And West Virginia is wearing their country roads uniforms. Take me home.
I'm about to say, there's been some country roads traveled for that exact configuration to play out, you know.
Also, on TikTok yesterday, I learned that Pitt and West Virginia are only 75 miles from each other.
Isn't that crazy? I can't believe this game. You said 11 years. I can't believe this game hasn't been played in 11 years.
Because they were both in the Big East, and then Pitt moved to the ACC, and West Virginia moved to the Big 12.
Yeah,
which is why West Virginia should move to the ACC, because all of their old Big East rivals, except for Cincinnati, are in the ACC. Cincinnati's about to be in the Big 12, but Cincinnati should just go to the ACC too.
Yeah. I would like that, actually. That would. Yeah. You always have good.
You literally took all the Big East and put them in the ACC. Like, so you get the backyard brawl back, and I think the only like Big East rival they don't play anymore is Marshall. And so it's just like all your old Cincinnati, Louisville, Syracuse, they're all there.
It was a beautiful time for college football back then.
It's great. It was wonderful.
But 2007, like we say, we always talk about 2007 being a crazy year. One thing we don't talk about a lot was how West Virginia lost that backyard brawl that put LSU in the Natty. That's
got to be the most upsetting loss in a rivalry game ever.
So do you feel that was? I was going to make this comparison earlier, but now that I'm thinking about it, I think it's pretty obvious that this backyard brawl was bigger. Do you think that was a crazier upset than the App State upset to Michigan that year? I mean, it was a big upset because of the context.
Also, App State and Michigan was 15 years ago today.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's what's interesting about it, because we both of them are sort of a callback, right? We got the backyard brawl back today, and then of course we have the.
There were so many upsets this season.
Statistically, though, I feel like App State was the bigger upset. It's just this actually
because it was the biggest upset of all time.
Yeah.
App State Michigan was the biggest upset. West Virginia Pitt was the most upsetting one,
right?
Because West Virginia is the winningest program in college football history to never win a national championship.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the closest they've ever gotten.
Yeah, it was, and I'm trying to get some highlights of it here.
Our boy Pat McAfee missed 2 close field goals in that game that would have given West Virginia the lead.
And he was talking about that today on his show, and apparently, like, it was so bad. I mean, you got to think about the context of this again, like, what this meant. It was so huge, right? Like, when's the last time West Virginia had a title game before this? And I mean, look, they're playing well here, but they just couldn't quite get in the end zone.
But you got to think about this era of West Virginia. This is Pat White, Steve Slayton, Noel Devine. Mm-hmm. Like, these are crazy offenses. And this Pitt team went like 4 and 7. Mm-hmm. But like we've always said, it's a rivalry game.
Right.
Throw stats and records out the window. It doesn't matter. 100%. But also, what a lot of people forget is Pat White hurt his thumb in this game.
Yeah. So that was he was out for a lot of that game. So like, it was a tale of 2 Pats, really. It's like, here's Pat McAfee that is missing the second field goal here,
and then Pat White going down with a.
Yeah, he came off the field, and it's heartbreaking, right? But like I say, I bring that up just because it's obviously his history. It's interesting. There he is. He's pretty devastated, obviously. But it's one of those things, man, where like we don't talk about it a ton, but there is such a pressure that goes on to athletes whenever those type of moments happen. It's so devastating, and it just makes me think, like, man, as fans, like, we've got to lay off a little bit whenever things like that happen. Like, he was telling a story about how people were throwing trash at him. I mean, he had people saying literally that he should kill himself. Like, it was insane. You know,
18-year-old kids getting death threats because they missed a field goal. That's
right?
stupid.
Like it's like, come on, like you have to have more in your life to where.
Like, what kind of morally bankrupt person are you if you're going to send a college kid a death threat because they didn't perform well in a football game? 100%. Yeah, so, it sucks. You can be a fan of the team. I've been upset about a loss before, but I've never told a kid to kill himself.
Exactly.
Or threatened to kill him myself. You know what I mean? Like, that's stupid.
Yeah, absolutely. So before we get into some games, I did want to ask you. You know, we always have. You got me?
You glitched for a second, but you were good. Yeah, I got you.
I did want to ask you before we get to our games. I wanted to ask. We have been covering for a while the Delta State fighting Okra, right? As our sort of like, we have a weird crush on them team. Like,
found a weird mascot and we like these.
Right. So you mentioned to me before, you sent me a text. You were like, "Hey, ma'am, do you want to do a different mascot this year?" And I'm down for that, but we don't have one picked out. So do you have any recommendations? Should I do a quick Google search?
I think I found one.
All right, give it to me.
I found one on TikTok earlier. Let me find the name.
Let's do weirdest.
Yes, here we go. Division II football.
Okay, I'm listening.
Slippery Rock University in Slippery Rock, Pennsylvania. Their mascot is The Rock. I just learned about them today. We don't have to pick them as the team we're cheering for. We still love the Okra around here.
Well, we got to see what this Rock mascot is looking like. Okay, this is...
I haven't actually seen the mascot. I just saw a girl talking about them on TikTok, and I was like, yeah, this is a thing I'm all about.
Oh, dear God.
I haven't seen it. So if you put it up on the screen, you're going to see my live reaction to it because I haven't seen it.
Brother, this is a piece right here. Let me do a little enhance.
Is it better than the Okra?
Enhance. Is it better than the Okra? It's not as disturbing as the Okra, but it feels very like you wanted to do a Halloween costume whenever you were 8 and your mom didn't prepare and it was Halloween and it was 6 o'clock in the evening and she was like, well, let's throw something together. This is what you're about to see. This is The Rock.
When you tell them about the science project that you have due it the next day, like 10 o'clock the night before?
Yeah, this is The Rock. This is not the Dwayne Johnson.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Yeah, this is The Rock, Rocky The Rock, Slippery Rock University.
Oh, God.
There it is.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Whew.
Well.
Like I say, we got some socks here, his gloves. We obviously have a shirt out of the bookstore and the beanie that this particular student happened on.
What a great name for a university, Slippery Rock.
Now, here's what he is now. It looks like they kind of modernized him, which I think is a bad move. I think you got to go ahead and roll with it. And
if your stuff already looks like something crazy, like from way back in the day, all these black and white pictures of mascots from way back in the day,
that's terrifying.
Crazy.
If I saw that, if I saw this at night walking towards me, I'd panic. It looks like the
cosmic
sock.
Horror type shit right there.
It really is.
Did you get that picture of the TCU mascot from back in the day that I sent you?
I don't know that I did. TCU mascot. What year?
Old picture. I don't know what year it's from, but it's old.
Oh, God. I'm sure oh, no. Oh, no. That is a not. Whoa! Look at this. Wait a minute. Hold on.
What did I miss?
What kind of shit is this?
I'm obviously behind. Yeah. Whoa. The one with the little girl, that's creepy looking.
I didn't like that one, but now I'm on this one that's on screen. That just looks like, it looks Photoshopped. Like it doesn't look like a real helmet.
Oh my God. They call him Super Frog for a reason.
Oh, this is not okay. Even this one is kind of like, some uncanny valley.
Yeah,
Horned frog is just not the cutest animal to try to.
It's a badass name, but let me go see if I can find the one. I know I sent it to you.
College football mascot. I wonder if anyone has a spider mascot. I don't know why this came to me. I'm gonna
they
hate
do.
this.
Where they at? Don't tell me. Somebody has the spiders. I know somebody has the spiders in their logos. Badass.
Richmond? Is it Richmond?
Richmond, yes, Richmond.
This is the worst thing I've ever seen, Spencer. Look at this.
I haven't seen their like person in a costume mascot. Oh God. Oh my goodness. I'm about to.
I'm
gonna send you the TCU one I was talking about.
If I'm a prospective student back in the 70s or 80s or whatever it is, and this is the mascot that walks in the room, I'm picking up my things and I'm leaving.
Yeah.
Where did they find a shirt with 6 armholes in it?
They probably had to make that. That was some cut and sew action right there.
I mean, at least they put more effort into this than The Rock. At least I'll say that.
We should do a little bit more research about crazy mascots, and we should come to a consensus about which one we're cheering for.
We got. I just kind of figured we would see. Good Lord, what the hell is that? What is this? Oh, this is the spiders still. It's just a new version. That's the new 22 Richmond Spider right there.
Have we talked about the UC Santa Cruz banana slugs before?
We have, but I haven't.
Let's remind the people about the UC Santa Cruz banana slugs.
First of all,
shout out to my boy Param Crow.
First of all, watch your language. Second of all, good God, this is a thing that exists.
The UC Santa Cruz banana slugs.
It just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? I think I gotta buy that sticker.
Really does.
Oh, look. No.
God, I love college football.
I mean, there's just so... there's a logo I saw I really want to find a better image of. Yeah, here it... Oh, look at that. That's the one.
Do you see...
Oh, man, hang on.
Banana slug is a real animal.
Yes, I know. Oh, Shrek, eat your heart out. Look at that.
I'm not... Oh yes, I think we put this one up here, the muscle one.
Yeah,
we've looked at this one. I want a T-shirt with that logo on. All right, that's hilarious.
I kind of need that too. Okay, I have to be done with that. I have to put that away. Okay, so we need to figure out what
team we're cheering for. Okra, we love you.
But it's time to move on to. It's not you, it's us.
We should see other people.
It might be the banana slugs since we keep using the yellow water bottles.
It might be the banana slugs.
It might be the banana slugs. What are they doing? Let me look that up real quick.
I don't know. I don't even know if UC Santa Cruz has a football team, to be honest with you.
Let's look it up.
They have to, though.
UC Santa Cruz banana slugs football. Surely they have a football program.
What? That's got to be the least imitating mascot.
I mean, who else? Literally only this place uses a banana slug for any reason, entertainment wise. GoSlugs.com. Let's see. GoSlugs.com. Hang on.
We have entered a.
I don't know that they do.
This is what you get, folks.
Inside of this is the kind of hard hitting research you get when you come visit this show.
When you listen to the Game Day Breakfast podcast over here on the Hashbrowns and Hashmarks YouTube channel, you get to hear about. No other podcast is going to tell you about the UC Santa Cruz banana slugs.
You will be
right now
devastated to know they do not have a football team.
Damn.
But they do have a basketball team, cross country, soccer. They got a lot of big collegiate sports.
I hope they win the Natty, bro. I don't know what division they're in, but
yeah, man. Let's see how their basketball team is doing. I mean, obviously it's not basketball season, but how'd they do? What conference are they in? They're in coast to coast all academic. No, excuse me. That's what they got awarded. What conference?
I don't know what conference they're in. I think they're like Division II, maybe.
Let me look this up. UC Santa Cruz division. Man, I'm so curious. Division 3.
This is now the UC Santa Cruz Banana Slugs podcast. Thank you for joining.
We're changing it. We're changing it. Quick update on scores, real quick. It is currently 10-7 Pittsburgh over West Virginia. We got a ball game. West Virginia's about to score. They're 4th and 1 at Pitt 7. So do they go for it? I don't know. Oklahoma State is
field goal. Take your points.
Oklahoma State
Washington,
is
Central Michigan.
I agree. Oklahoma State is Washington is a washing them. Wake Forest is up 17, is up on VMI. Well, cool. So we've crossed that bridge.
The Virginia Military Institute.
Brian says, fun fact, the Portland State coach offered to buy everyone a beer to come to a game and followed through. You'll love to see that. That's amazing.
Steven just hopped in. What's up, my boy?
What's going on, Steven? So, Brian, I know you have thoughts, obviously, on Oregon. There's a lot.
Also, Brian, I gotta shout out Brian. He made a hell of a highlight video.
Saw that.
He used a clip of my voice from our last podcast.
Which I hope you're still ready to defend that, because I'm interested to hear.
I'm going to.
It's going to be a good ball game. So let's get into that then, man. Let's go ahead and do that. So I have some games I will read you, Spencer. And the way this is going to work, folks, by the way, in previous years, we have just made picks. We have talked shit. We have had fun, and that has been the end of it. But this year, we're doing things a little bit differently. There is no longer making terrible picks and then just kind of getting away with it and people forgetting about it. We are going to be keeping record this year, and I have proof.
I absolutely have not forgotten about you saying that UCLA was going to beat Fresno State last year. I have not forgotten about that, sir.
Did you forget about when I said LSU was going to get beaten by UCLA, and they did?
No, I didn't forget about that. I was wrong about that one.
So we have a spreadsheet.
Steven said he's ready to learn about hash browns. Yeah, we can tell you all about hash browns. They're made of potatoes. That's all you need to know. But yeah, I told you last year that Fresno State was going to beat UCLA by a field goal, and they did just that because Jake Hayner put the team on his back and won the game.
You know, it still hurts because I was so big on UCLA that year. But what can I say? I mean, that man absolutely.
My boy, you made me buy a damn Fresno State T-shirt.
That man absolutely moved heaven and earth that game. I mean, it was a one-man performance. UCLA, like I told you last year, their defense thought the game was over before the drive even began. They were like, we're going to stop this team. It's not a big deal.
They played prevent defense. And the only thing prevent defense does is prevent you from winning.
Well, it was late in the game. They felt like they couldn't actually play man. It was whatever.
Also, they were in Cali, so it was about 4 a.m. East Coast.
So the way this is going to work, Spencer, just so you know.
I'm listening. This is the first I'm hearing of this. Folks,
yes,
so
exactly.
You're hearing it just the same as I am.
We're making this very raw. So what's going to happen is we have featured games each week. There's no set number. I'm going to try to pick around like 7 or 8, something like that. If you feel there's a game we didn't talk about that you want to be added to the featured list, the featured ones are for points, and they're the ones that I feel are the most interesting. We're not going to be picking like, Texas and ULM. Right, because we know that's we're not gonna feature Alabama and the Citadel or whatever. Maybe the Citadel because of that one time.
Maybe the Citadel. Maybe.
But you get
about the Citadel.
But you get the idea. Like we don't care about like them playing Alabama State or whatever. So we're gonna pick some games that are interesting. These will be the ones that we actually write down for points. Okay, It's going to be very simple. It'll just be you pick, I pick, and essentially every week we will total up. By the end of the year, we will look back and go, okay, here's what we got right. Here's what our correct percentage was. Here's what we got for like the I actually should write down, that's not a bad idea actually, to see who the favorite was. So like to see, I'm just going to type this in, favorite, if I can spell correctly. Favorite.
Do we get extra points? Do we get extra points for picking upsets?
Sure, absolutely.
If we're correct about an upset, make it 2 points.
I think that's a great idea.
Like so if I tell you that whoever's gonna upset whoever, but the team if I tell you that like Texas is gonna beat Alabama in an upset, and Alabama's heavily favored. This is just an example I'm using.
Right.
And Alabama's heavily favored, and I'm right about the upset happening. Let's make it 2 points.
We should do that, but I think we should make it more than just 2 points, depending on how much of an underdog they are. Like, I feel like every touchdown that they are a favorite, that is an extra point. Like that? So if they're like a 6-point favorite, you get an extra point.
I can't wait for Blood Week, baby. Upset Saturday is gonna.
It's gonna be a good year, baby. Okay,
because you know there's one. There's 1 week every year where everybody loses.
Oh God, yeah.
There's 1 week every year where it happens.
There's one where where shit hits the fan. Like I say, I think it's a good idea. So I think we do that. And of course, so I'll have 2 stats. I'll have like number 1, our correct percentage. So like it won't have anything to do with upsets, just percentage correct of what we got. The other stat will be the actual points that we earn. Okay. And we'll say every loss, everything that we're incorrect about is just -1 point.
All right. Deal.
Same thing
for the loser at the end.
Well, we should. I agree, but we'll do the same thing. So, like, let's say it's a 3-touchdown favorite, and we're picking the upset. If we're wrong, we lose 3 points, or we gain. Okay. So you're basically wagering how much. So you want to do that?
Now, but like, if we're both on the if we both pick the upset, we both get 3 points. If
we
the
both
upset wins.
Correct. Hey, okay. I like this. This is spicy.
We should do a punishment.
We should absolutely. All right,
Some
Brian.
kind of cool, nothing embarrassing or bad or dumb.
We'll figure something out. Brian, do you want to open?
I have one that I really like, but we'll talk about that in a minute.
Spencer, should we open with Georgia and Oregon, or should we save that since that's kind of the main event?
Yeah, let's save that.
You want to save that? All right.
Brian, I'm sorry.
Here's what I feel is actually secretly, we have a lot of games obviously lined up for this first week, this week 1. Here's what I actually feel may secretly be the really, really fun one that we're not talking about. And that is Cincy and Arkansas. Ooh, this one's interesting. This one's got me thinking.
That's another interesting one I want to talk about, but we can talk about Cincinnati and Arkansas. I'm sure the other interesting one I want to talk about is already on your list because it's fire.
I'm sure it is too. We got Cincy, Arkansas. This is going to be at Arkansas. Okay, it's going to be in Fayetteville. Correct? Yes, it's going to be. It'll be Razorback Stadium. I was making sure it wasn't a neutral site. The matchup, the power index has Arkansas with about a 60% chance to win. Keep in mind, this is a Cincinnati team that has lost a lot of starters. They don't have what's his face, whose name I just thought about. Ritter. They don't have Ritter. They don't have a lot of their defensive starters.
I don't know who their quarterback's going. They lost Sauce Gardner. They lost Desmond Ritter.
Arkansas is bringing a lot of key pieces back.
But they also lost people. They lost Traylon Burks.
Correct.
They lost, I think, somebody else, but they got KJ Jefferson back on offense. They got Bumper Poole back on defense.
Well,
and I think they got a transfer wide receiver from Alabama that's going to be really good, too.
The line on this one, Arkansas is just under a touchdown favorite. They are 6.5-point favorites in this one. And again, this is at home, so you look at a neutral site, you're looking at maybe like 4.5-point favorites. You look at Cincy, this could be close to like them being a field goal favorite. This is a pretty close game. This is one that I think Arkansas fans are probably expecting to win, considering this is a very, broken up, sort of rebuilding year for Cincy, especially after sort of the dejecting loss they had last year. So who you got, man? Who's it gonna be?
Obviously, if you've watched this show, we were big on Arkansas last year. Arkansas played some great games last year. Still a believer in Arkansas. I think Arkansas is going to do good things.
Sam Pittman's got them boys looking good.
I love Coach Pittman. I think he's great. Cincinnati has lost a lot. They don't have their, Desmond Ritter, who was their, he led them to the playoff, the first non-Power 5 team to go to the playoff. And they hung in there with Alabama for a while. So, you can't lose that type of quarterback and then come back and,
Right.
But who knows? Coach, what's his name? Luke Fickell. That's a well-coached team. And I saw a video earlier today that was talking about going back. I'm going to pull a wild card with this one. I'm going to take Cincinnati.
Ooh, okay.
On the road. I still like Arkansas. I think Arkansas is going to do good things, but I think this is going to be some week 1 jitters. I think Arkansas is kind of expecting maybe to win. I think Cincinnati jumps up and bites them. Give me Cincinnati by a touchdown.
Okay.
I think they cover the spread.
Interesting.
The spread may change between now and Saturday, but give me Cincinnati.
All right. Interesting. Okay. I like it.
I'm gonna start this year off in the hole.
Hey man, anything can happen. I feel this is going to be a very close game. I feel like this is going to be a game that truly close. There's not going to be a pull away team. I think is going to be pretty close the entire time. What impresses me about Cincy, again, they did lose a lot of defensive pieces, but you look at what they did last year against Alabama in the playoff. Man, they still held them to 27 points. Your Heisman Trophy winner, your unbelievable offense stacked with talent. Again, they only scored 6 because Alabama's defense really came into its own towards the end of the year. And obviously they hit a different stride whenever they did hit the playoff. But the fact that they were still able to hold them to 27 points, Alabama likes to step on throats. Nick Saban likes to run the score up because you can't ever be safe. The fact that they did that tells me Cincy's defense, at least then, was still fine. To my knowledge, I think they still have the same defensive coordinator in Cincy. So I am going to say this is going to be extremely close. But I think that the experience, everything coming back from last year, Arkansas is going to be a more complete team. I think there's going to be a lot less questions. Week 8 or 9, Cincy could win this game. Week 1, Cincy could win this game, but I would bet that Week 9, Cincy has a better chance to win this game. I'm going to take Arkansas because it's Week 1. And because they have more of a sort of an established team at this point. It'll be very close, though. This is, to me, honestly, the most interesting game. So let me go ahead and write mine in real quick. I'm going to take Arkansas. Beautiful. Next, we got a fun one. We got Florida, and they're visiting, I believe, to Utah. They're playing Utah, but they're playing in the Swamp.
They're playing Utah at home. Is it neutral site or at home?
Bentonville Griffin Stadium in the Swamp.
Yes, Swamp.
Yes, sir.
That's at home. Utah is going to be very good this year. Like Pac-12 winner, potential Pac-12 winners, potential playoff berth type of good. And obviously they played in that amazing Rose Bowl game against Ohio State last year. Yes. Just couldn't close it out.
And we know how big everybody is in Ohio State this year. So
yeah, I was cheering for Utah in that game. I wanted them to go. We don't know what Florida's going to be because Florida really didn't do much last year, and and then they had the shoe game in 2020, but they did just get Billy Napier.
Never forget.
He coached ULL for a long time, and he got that program back to national relevance. But first year under a new coach, you got a new Anthony Richardson's going to be starting quarterback. I think Anthony Richardson's good, but I just think this Utah team is the real deal. Give me Utah to win on the road in the SEC.
Yeah, I feel. Also, I just saw Teddy's comment. It says Florida State upsets LSU week 2. Mark my word. I don't know about that one.
Well, that's too bad. See. They're not playing week 2.
I'm going to say, well, he's going to be wrong.
They're not playing week 2. So.
I don't know if Teddy's still in here or not. I just saw his message. But, man, I pretty much agree. I think that Utah, has less questions. Florida is still going to be searching for its identity early on. You could see flashes of what could be later in the year. Obviously, this is, again, it's all about week 1. It's all about things happening. It's all about the fact that Florida, again, has to search for its identity first, and they could find it fast. We've seen teams come out with a new coach, re-energized, and hit a new stride they haven't hit in years. So things could be very different. There is a chance that I don't want to call it lightning in a bottle because you can see a Florida team beating Utah, right? Like I think we can all imagine that. I just don't know if it's there. So give me Utah on this one. But yeah, I do. The spread honestly is kind of shocking. It's only 3 point. I think Utah covers, honestly.
Oh yeah, I don't think this game is particularly close. Give me Utah by like 2 touchdowns.
But you know how Florida is, man.
People are sleeping on Utah's quarterback. I mean, the Swamp is a tough place to play.
Of course.
But I heard this girl.
And that's a different type of heat, too.
She was like, I'm going to just say it. The Swamp sucks. She goes, Florida fans talk about how, it's in there and they're loud and you get to be close to the fan. And she goes, like every other stadium in college football doesn't do the same thing. Like Happy Valley doesn't do the same thing when a Penn State whiteout, or Austin Stadium doesn't do the same thing when Oregon's good, or Death Valley LSU doesn't do the same thing. It's like, she was like, the Swamp sucks. It's hot and the stadium is awkward. And I was just like, she was just going off. And I was she's
just absolutely taking a dump on it. It's funny you say that about like the stadium being awkward, because whenever I looked at, I saw a picture of, hang on. I wanted to look this up because I had never really considered what the Swamp looks like empty.
It's very blocky. Like
it's extremely different.
It's a differently built stadium. I think the stadium is beautiful. Like I don't necessarily agree with that girl that was talking about it. I think the stadium's wonderful, but she was just going ham on the Swamp. And the Swamp is a tough place to play. Now, is this like Tim Tebow era tough place to play against Florida? Not really.
No, it's a whole different baby with that. Whenever that was.
Still.
So here's what I never really fully understood about the swamp. Okay, so this is be a brief aside. I don't want to download the image. I want to open it. Oh, damn it! I want to open this so you guys can see. So here's what I never really fully understood about the swamp. I always just saw, like the sign that says this is gator country. I always just sort of saw a sea of people and then this wall creeping out. And I always kind of wondered like how that happened. It wasn't until I saw it without people that I realized like, oh, it's just built so that like, how can I like describe this? It's built so that it's almost like the fans are spilling out, It's a really, really interesting, if I could find, here we go. This is a better image here. It's built in such a way that it's like the fans are sort of spilling onto the field. So it's like you have the higher bleachers, you have the lower bleachers, and then it's just like all this just sort of like leaks down here. I think it's a really cool design. Like we don't talk about it very much because it's just sort of an old thing, but like it's a cool as hell design.
Same way Autzen Stadium was built. Like if you look at the top of Autzen Stadium, it's like very geometric, jagged pieces.
Yeah.
But the way it's built, Autzen Stadium funnels all the noise to the ground.
Yeah, so, stadium architecture like that is so fascinating. All stadiums are
kind of built to do that.
Right. No, stadium architecture like that is so fascinating to me. But yeah, the swamp is one I definitely want to visit one day. Sure. Let me get back to the games over here. So yeah, the next one we have number 5 and number 2, which apparently is
Notre Dame should not be number 5.
Apparently that's a huge gap between 2 and 5 because we got a 17-point spread here. They got the Buckeyes demolishing the Irish at home.
This game will not be close.
Really? You don't think so, huh?
Ohio State by like 20 points, bro. This game is not going to be close. I don't understand why Notre Dame is number 5. Notre Dame is always overrated. I don't know what the media's obsession with Notre Dame is. I get it.
They shoehorned them into the 2020 playoff.
They have a history. I get that. They're one of the, they're a national brand, but I don't get it. They should not be number 5. Clemson should not be number 4. Like, that's just recency bias to me, why Notre Dame is number 5. This game's not close. It's in the horseshoe. Like, game day is going to be in Columbus, but, like, this game's not close.
I mean, you look at their schedule, right? I mean, it's we this is a tale as old as time. We look at schedules. And
Notre Dame join a conference, and I'll stop shitting on you.
Yeah, I mean, join.
The Big Ten. That's literally where every single one of your rivals are.
Yeah,
join the Big Ten.
Genuinely, if they join the Big Ten and then they go like they're 10-1 or they're 10-2 or
sure,
then we can have this conversation. But the fact that they automatically, I mean, it's just.
You got to play Ohio State, Michigan, Michigan State, Penn State, and USC in the same year, and they're all conference games, and you win them, then we'll talk about it. But
let me just put it to you this way: like, and as an LSU fan, I think you'll agree, take LSU out of the SEC, give them Notre Dame's schedule, watch their win-loss record, and watch what happens. They're treated exactly the same. Notre Dame's a good team, but again, the fact that they have this unique schedule, just
look at every time they've made the playoff. They've been demolished by whoever it is they run up against. Like, and I don't know if any of y'all saw. I just watched the Manti Te'o documentary.
Oh, the Manti Te'o documentary.
There's if Oklahoma State, no, not even. I'm thinking of the wrong year. Back me up. If Kansas State could have beaten a 7-5 Baylor team, we would have been watching Kansas State and Notre Dame in the national championship. And it might have been a closer game, but also probably not, because you got to remember that Notre Dame team only beat a 6-7 Purdue team by like 3 points. Like they only scraped by some bad teams that year and ended up making the Natty.
It just goes to show you that Notre Dame has always been cotton candy. Looks great, tastes great. Oh, damn! It vanished. What happened?
Yeah.
So
exactly.
That was a weird analogy.
Like fruit stripe gum, you chew it for 2 seconds and the flavor
just vanishes. Crazy. Like they're So I don't know. They're false to me, but it is what it is. Join a conference and things will change. But in the meantime, you make whoever you finally lose to, you make them look great. So that's cool. You're a great.
Give me Ohio State.
A great late season jobber. I agree. I'm taking the Buckeyes. It's not even close. What's his face that everyone's talking about is going to be really, really good in this game. What's the quarterback? CJ Stroud is going to be great in this game.
Travion Henderson, Jackson Smith, and Jigba.
Yeah, it's
Ohio. This game is not close.
OH.
Felt like any stretch of the imagination. OHIO. And I don't particularly like Ohio State that much, to be honest with you. I'm kind of neutral about them. I'm like 55-45 toward the dislike side.
If it was up to me, both teams will lose. I don't want either team to win.
Ohio State's fans get on my nerves. And I'll hold the Ohio State. They trademarked the. Get the hell out of here with that shit.
If that ain't the most bougie, self-important, narcissistic. Anyways, it's like the Oklahoma, not the Oklahoma, the Alabama fan that was like talking about Tennessee's like they low down, they dirty, they some snitches.
They some snitches. I love that interview so much. I love it so much.
So before we talk about this next game, before we give our picks, I feel it was important that we note that there was a very important member of the non-human race that gave a pick for this game. There was a seal, actually, that somehow, I don't know what the circumstances were, cute as hell, this seal, but he's picking Georgia State, this little guy. This little
Georgia Tech over Clemson?
Georgia Tech, my apologies. Picking Georgia Tech over Clemson.
I don't think Clemson's going to be that good, so it could happen.
It could. Clemson,
but Georgia Tech also kind of sucks, so...
Well, right. Like, I think that Clemson is going to lose some games this year. I don't see it, but this seal is cute as hell, so we have to share this.
Mark my words, DJ Uiagalelei is not going to be the starter all season. Cade Klubnik's going to get the start.
I'm sorry, who?
They're going to lose two. Cade Klubnik.
No, the first name.
DJ Uiagalelei.
I'm sorry, one more time. I didn't quite hear you.
DJ Uiagalelei is not going to be their starter. Got me saying Uiagalelei over and over again, like I did Murfreesboro that one time.
Who?
DJ Uiagalelei.
No, the other guy.
Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
Excuse me, bless you. Did you sneeze? Was that what that was?
Home of the Middle Tennessee State Blue Raiders.
I can't believe that's that dude. That's that dude's name.
He's Hawaiian, so it makes sense.
Of course. I remember reading something at one point about the Hawaiian language, and so they have a lot of phonemes, which is like sounds, but they don't have a lot of or they don't have many phonemes rather in their list. Like we have 26 letters, which means we have like however many combinations of, and a phoneme is like one sound. It's like a syllable in a word. But the Hawaiian language, as I understand it, they have basically a smaller alphabet of phonemes. So their words are so long because they're just like mixing and matching the same shit over and over. Which is why they have like,
a lot of A's. And
Kamehameha High School and
a lot of apostrophes.
Yeah, there's a lot of and there's a fish that's like 13, or like 26 letters long. I forgot what it's called. Yeah. Whatever, we'll get it. Anyways, it's the Horseshoe, Laughs in Oregon.
Welcome to your daily English lesson.
Yeah. Hope you guys are enjoying your weekly linguistics podcast. Kent Woodward says Ohio State wishes they were Alabama.
Kent, my man, what's
People
up, bro?
are saying that this could be the year for them, but I think they're gonna have trouble getting past Michigan. Which, by the way, have you heard about what happened in Michigan?
I haven't.
So here's a quarterback battle story for you.
I may have heard this if you're about to talk about what I think you're about to talk about.
So Michigan, John Harbaugh. It's John Harbaugh, right? I get him and his brother confused. Jim Harbaugh.
It's Jim Harbaugh. John Harbaugh is the head coach of the Baltimore
Ravens. Jim Harbaugh was so undecided about the quarterback race. And because they have such a fluffy four-game stretch to start their year, they have jobbers back to back to back to back. They have small schools, right? He said, basically what he said was, I can't decide on which quarterback I'm going to start. Week 1, we're going to have guy A start the entire game. Week 2, we're going to have guy B start the entire game. And then we're going to go from there. What a luxury to have that easy of a 4-game opening stretch. I've never seen that before.
I haven't either. But Brian says it's in the Horseshoe, Laughs in Oregon.
Yeah. All right, anyway, so back to the picks. I just had to get on that little tangent.
No, but I read about that. That's what a luxury to have.
I didn't know what to think about it. I think I hate it, but also I kind of want to see what happens. You know, it's a true battle, right? You get two game time sort of trial by fires, I suppose.
Game 3, you got to start both of them. One to start the first half, the second half.
Yeah, and then just swap them each play the rest of the season. Anyways, Clemson and Georgia Tech. Who you got?
It'll probably be Clemson, to be honest with you. Although I don't think Clemson's going to be all that this year.
In their last, and now granted this is against Georgia and Notre Dame, but in their last 2 games, in their last 2 outings, Georgia Tech scored exactly 0 points. Before that, they actually put up quite a few points, but they had no defense, so they lost to Boston College and Miami. I don't know much about this Yellow Jackets team, but Clemson clearly has coming off of 5 wins last year. They finished strong. Ugalele, whose name is still I can't do. I'm sure he'll have a great game. So give me Clemson convincingly, but man, I hope the seal is right. That'd be fun as hell.
That'd be amazing.
Hey, let me tell you something. Clemson. If that seal is right, we're checking in with the seal every week from now on. Like, that seal just became a superstar. National media will be checking in with this seal every single week.
It says, I love how you guys mix wrestling terminology into football like jobber, yeah.
Oh, God, yeah. Watch too much
I'm
wrestling,
not as big of a wrestling fan as I once was, but Daryl still is. So.
No, I can't not. That's how I speak in everyday life. I watch TV shows and call people jobbers. So cool. Clemson for both of us. Let me go ahead and lock that in. Clemson. Cool. Now we got Purdue and Penn State. I forgot why I put this game happening.
Is that one happening tonight for some reason, or is that tomorrow night?
I don't know. Hang on. Let me go check. And click on the right. Oh, by the way, update. Pitt and West Virginia currently 12-10 Pitt. There was a safety in this game. We are in the third quarter.
Jeez.
Pitt got a safety. Interesting.
They got a safety when they beat them in 2007 too. So.
Oh boy,
what's going to happen? Self-inflicted. That's why the final score was 13-9.
You are right though. Purdue and Penn State are playing right now, so we can't actually pick this game. I had it timed wrong in my head. For some reason, I thought it was tomorrow. I thought they were doing a Friday game for some reason. Whatever. Update on that game. We won't pick for it, obviously. Second quarter, it is currently Purdue 10, Penn State 7. So we got a good one. Penn State, I don't know, man. Hey.
You know what that is.
I have a weird thing for the Boilermakers. I really do.
I'm blowing the train horn. Give me the Boilermakers in this one.
Yeah, I'm taking them too. This
one ain't gonna count toward our picks, but give me the Boilermakers.
Yeah.
If my boss Hector's watching it, he's a Penn State fan.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry.
Sorry about it.
But give me the Boilermakers.
Ooh. Yeah, Spencer Ross says, Purdue's winning right now. Oh, hey. Something about Purdue. Ever since that one year they had the crazy.
Big drum.
Ever since that one year, they had the giant upset against Ohio State.
They just beat the pants off Ohio State that night.
You could watch that was the first time I ever watched a college football game and felt like how cold it was there in my living room. Like, it was so cold. Some of the visuals, people in the stand. Oh, it was a good game.
That was when Tyler Trent, rest in peace, was like,
yeah.
It was like Purdue's going to beat Ohio State. I would put the Purdue team that took the field in that building that night up against
anybody.
They're winning that game. They're winning that game. That team on that specific night.
No. Jesus Christ could have been coaching Alabama last year. Wouldn't have beat that.
78 Steelers couldn't have won in that building that night.
All right, man. Here's a good one. This might be the one that you were saying we should circle, even though it's not a ranked game. The Tar Heels and App State.
It's not the one I was going to talk about, but yes.
But hey, that's a pretty. I did watch a little bit of the Tar Heels game from last week. They look pretty good, man. I forgot their new guy's name, but that quarterback was very cozy.
Though, because FAMU held right on, held right up with, and FAMU had like 20 guys that were like ineligible. They didn't have an offensive line, like basically at all, and they still like were only. When I checked the score, they were only down by like 11 points to North Carolina. So like.
No, definitely. There's a lot of questions, I think, on the defensive side of the ball from North Carolina, but their offense, I was very impressed. They were able to move the ball pretty comfortably. I forget what's the new quarterback's? May. Is it Devin May? D May? What's his first? Drake May. I was really impressed with this guy. He was making some very good throws and some nice tight little windows. Able to run too. This guy's got some legs on him, so watch out. North Carolina is going to look very different with him as opposed to Sam Howell, more of a dual threat kind of approach. So we'll see how it opens up their game. North Carolina could be something special this year. We'll see what happens, man. But who you got in this one? And by the way, the reason I actually added this game was not just because I was kind of interested in see what App State does in North Carolina, but also because the spread is North Carolina as a 1-point favorite. This is damn even. Like
this game is Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
So
11
I think
a.m.
it was
kickoff.
last year or 2 years ago, App State beat North Carolina. They beat North Carolina and South Carolina in the same season.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was either last year or 2 years ago. App State's always good. They're gonna. It's 11 a.m. kickoff, which I talk about it all the time.
It ticks all the boxes, man. I mean, it's App State. It's 11 o'clock.
It's App State. You're playing them 2 days after the 15th anniversary of. We also got to talk about. Don't play App State on September 1st because you might lose. Because September 1st, 2007, they upset Michigan. September 1st, 2016, they almost beat Tennessee in Neyland Stadium. September 1st, 2018, they almost beat Penn State in Happy Valley.
Mm-hmm.
App State is always good. You got to watch out for them. They beat North Carolina the last time these teams played. Give me the Mountaineers. Give me App State.
Really? Okay.
I'm a believer in App State, bro.
You're kind of giving me a heart attack.
I can hear the App State. I'm seeing it on the screen. I can hear the App State announcers in my ear right now.
Oh.
The Mountaineers have just beaten the Michigan Wolverines. I can hear.
It's just such an iconic moment. It's not playing on the video,
but yeah. Like it's like pictures you can hear. This is it.
100%. Yeah. It's interesting. So you're going to take App State in this one. I liked what I saw last week. I'm going to be wishful thinking here. I like Drake May. I like what they're doing in North Carolina. I don't know. North Carolina's a team I'm always kind of weirdly high on. I know they kind of had their struggles at the end of last year, but
in the history of this show, we've been kind of big on North Carolina, mainly because of Mac Brown.
Yeah, we've been sweet on them a little bit. And we
had that contentious talking point about that Clemson game a couple years ago.
You mean whenever I was like whenever you were upset because they went for it instead of kicking the field goal, and
yeah, they should have taken their points because they were stopping them the whole game, and
I was like,
it was Trevor Lawrence.
No,
I know it was Trevor Lawrence. You give him the ball right there, but play to live another day, bro. Come on,
Chief. No, you gotta. That's one of those fine things where like I told you last time we talked about this, if you find yourself as an unranked team with a chance to upset a ranked team. Or not even a ranked team, like a top 5 team. And you could if I could tell you before the game, hey, we're going to be tied, about to go into overtime unless we go for 2. Would you take it? And this is probably going to be your only chance to win. Of course, you'd go for 2 there. Like if that was what you were told ahead of the game, you'd be like, hell yeah, let's just have the right play. We're going to go ahead and win this shit right now. It's the right thing.
But the play call was just bad. Also, kind of like Arkansas did last year against Ole Miss. That game was crazy.
Now that one.
They should not have gone for 2.
That one I don't feel that way because that's a team you're more evenly matched with. North Carolina was trying to catch lightning in a bottle. You got to go ahead and do it then. Yeah. But I'm taking the Tar Heels here, and it's also wishful thinking because A&M plays App State the following week at an 11 a.m. kickoff. I don't want this App State team to be feeling too good going in there because stranger things have happened. Give me the Tar Heels, but I do think it'll be a good game.
I do. That'll be like that's a couch game for sure.
Oh, that's a recliner game.
If you're new here, we talk about a recliner game, a couch game, whatever. That's the game where you're not like super emotionally invested. It doesn't really mean that much. It's just there's football and you're gonna sit back and enjoy a football game.
Right. There's no stakes.
That's what a recliner game is.
No stakes. You're just purely enjoying it for the sport. Like it's
for the
like
love of the game.
It's like watching a boxing match. Like you just want to see it. Mm-hmm.
Sure.
We got LSU and Florida State.
Yeah. Sunday night. This game is on Sunday night. It's in.
I didn't realize that.
This game's on Sunday. LSU. We've got a new head coach in Brian Kelly.
Coming. How do you feel about that? By the way,
I love it.
Do you?
Because Brian Kelly's weird. He's odd. He's awkward. You have to be weird to coach LSU.
Hey, he's the next Les Miles, my guy.
Yeah, like he's goofy and funny and weird and awkward. Like you just have to be goofy to coach at LSU. Like
Lou Holtz don't like him.
But
did you hear about Lou Holtz? He can't stand Brian Kelly because his entire time at Notre Dame he sent him like 10 letters and Brian Kelly never responded. Isn't that the saddest shit ever? The fact that he sent him letters and he's all offended, didn't respond. Anyways, you were saying
winningest coach in Notre Dame history. Kind of he kind of dipped off in the middle of the night from Notre Dame, but like I'm fine with it. We don't really know what Florida State is gonna be this year. Like they got they lost that big recruit. What's the kid's name?
Oh
yeah, committed to Jackson State. I can't think
Jackson
of his name
State
right now.
That big 5-star because of I forgot it was NIL deal that they brought him over there, wasn't it? Like Jackson State.
It was something, but whatever. And he committed.
By the way, I have nothing but respect for that kid because he's going to have a lot easier career and he's going to be able to.
And he's going to put an HBCU on the map. Mm-hmm. But also Deion Sanders is their coach, so like Deion Sanders also kind of put a. Yeah. Anyway,
his draft stock will be fine.
What's the coach at Florida State? The guy from Memphis. I can't think of his name right now.
No, not Memphis. From that he came from. No, it was Memphis. What's his name? Yeah. I'm upset about this. Why can't I think of his name? Hang on, I'm gonna look it up.
Oh God. Mike Norvell.
Mike Norvell. We were big on him for a while. Yes.
I still think he's a good coach, but he hasn't really showed that.
Well, it's a whole different culture, whole different ball.
It's a whole different ball game, whole different culture. I still think Florida State's trying to like rebuild, their culture. This is not the Florida State of. They haven't really been good since they won the Natty against Auburn back in the day. Like, yeah, they made the playoff the first year of the playoff, but they haven't really done much then. I have, I'm an LSU fan, obviously, but I have confidence in the team. I have confidence in Brian Kelly. We know who our starting quarterback is, but we're not going to say it because Brian Kelly was like, they've already started scheming for 2 guys, so why would I give who our main guy is going to be?
It's the whatever. I forgot the name. It's the speedier guy, right? It's the guy that's more of a.
But it's got to be Jaden Daniels.
The
transfer from Arizona State. Because Miles Brennan retired from football because he was told he was not going to be the starter. Which, Miles Brennan, you stuck with the program. I feel bad for the way it turned out for you, but best of luck to you. It's probably going to be Jaden Daniels because you got Garrett Nussmeier behind him. You got Walker Howard behind him. I think Walker Howard's probably going to redshirt. I think he should because Walker Howard's going to be good. So you want to keep his eligibility. So I think Jaden Daniels is probably going to be the starter, dual threat type of guy.
I feel like he's the guy you can plug in and immediately find success with.
He's good. We got Keyshawn Boutte coming back. We got the transfer back from Penn State and Noah Cain. That's going to be very good. We got John Emery is
Noah Cain.
Yeah. John Emery ended up getting suspended for like 4 games at the start of the season because of some like crazy ineligible stuff. Cain's pick up where he left off. Yeah, give me my Tigers. Plus, we're playing in New Orleans. Give me my Tigers in this one.
Interesting. Will says FSU will be mid. Well, also, what's up, Will? FSU will be mid, says Willie. Hey, man, you know what? They were mid last year, but here's what I see, right? So, obviously, this is going to be an interesting matchup. LSU kind of skidded to the finish last year. I think you're right. They will be reinvigorated with Brian Kelly. It's going to be a brand new identity. You know how it is. It's very hit or miss whenever we have a new coach in the program because sometimes, like you say, get off to a hot start, all of a sudden have a really good year under your first year, right? So LSU, I think, is a team I'm going to go with here. But I think this is closer than people have. The Power Index has Florida State.
I don't know how close this is going to be. I have no...
Power Index says LSU is going
to win.
Yeah, if Power Index has them, ESPN has them a 72% chance of winning. But the line, again, is only by a field goal, right? So this is going to be close, according to Vegas at least. What I'm seeing is that Florida State lost a lot last year, but here's what I'm also seeing. Similar to Nebraska, funny enough, they lost really close games. Like they lost to Florida by a field goal. They won against Miami by a field goal. So like these rivalry games, they're right there with them. And those, of course, are really important for a new coach, right? Boston College was a close loss. Clemson, they only lost by 10. Their loss to Louisville was by 1 possession. Their loss to Wake Forest was pretty ugly. They lost to Notre Dame in overtime. I don't know if you remember that game or not, by a field goal. So, I mean, this is a team.
Because that was when Brian Kelly was like, our whole team should be executed.
Yes.
We talked about that last year.
Mike Norvell, I think, is a player's coach. I think he will have them boys feeling extremely, energetic. I think this is going to be a statement game for them. They've already got one. I didn't realize they already played. It looks like they did play on
against Duquesne.
Yeah. So obviously they were able to get a little bit of time under. This is LSU's first game. hear me out, man. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid a tiny bit here. I'm gonna go with the Seminoles here. I got a feeling, and I don't think that by week 5 or 6 that the Tigers are going to still be the worst team. In fact, I think that they're the better team. I think that Florida State is just going to get on them early, and I think they're not going to let up, and I think it's going to get ugly. But I don't think that will remain. I think at some point Florida State is going to teeter out. I think LSU is going to probably be the better team long term this year. LSU is going to be one of those teams that maybe loses this game, maybe loses another one somewhere down the line, like in week 4, 5, or 6, and people count out at 2 losses, but then has a very strong finish just because it is sort of a new thing. So give me the Seminoles, but again, if they meet week 10, very different.
There's some people that got LSU going like 11-1 year, and there's other people got us going 5. So like, I'm not mad at you.
It's
which is why I don't really like listen to like predictions. I just wait for the game to happen.
Yeah.
And just see what's gonna.
But West Virginia, by the way, is up now 17-10 on Pitt. West Virginia unranked up on number 17 Pitt right now. Ooh.
Backyard brawl.
Wait,
they scored 5 points. Hold on. Didn't you say it was 12-10 a few minutes ago?
Oh, I think it got turned over. I think it got reviewed, and then it ended up not being that. Because it's not there anymore.
Yeah, because they would have 19.
Yeah, it's not there anymore. It must have gotten
overturned.
Twitter will tell me later. Interesting. All right, and then
also, so you know how they invented Gatorade at the University of Florida?
Yes,
that's what they call it, Gatorade.
Gatorade.
I'm very glad they didn't invent it at Florida. Wants to Seminole.
Wait, say that again. You cut out. I'm sorry, you had a good joke there.
I'm glad they didn't invent Gatorade at Florida State because nobody wants to drink Seminole fluid.
You're absolutely right. That's an excellent point. Hey, do you remember that old commercial though that they used to run for Gatorade when they were like trying to explain it? It had like that one announcer and he was like, I want to see if I can find it actually. Hang on, now I'm curious. But it was like it had the coach. I forgot who it was. It was not a coach, but it was somebody that said, naturally, we thought we would call it Gatorade. Hang on.
Yeah, I've seen that. What's your favorite flavor of Gatorade, Daryl?
Probably, I think it was 2001. Probably orange. I just like the orange flavor.
You're wrong.
I'm
it's
wrong.
Lemon lime. It's lemon lime, and it's not close.
Lemon lime is pretty good, actually.
I watched a video the other day, and these guys were sports thing, and they were like, "What's your Gatorade?" And I was like, "Lemon lime and bottles."
Here it is. I found the commercial. I want to see. I haven't seen this in years.
It's like an old,
yeah. This is it.
Hope we don't get copyrighted.
This is the long term.
Those boys drank that stuff and they became a second half team.
He said them boys drank that stuff and they became a second half team.
Look at them highlights.
Ooh.
This guy's name is Chip Hinton.
Now that's a damn name right there, baby.
Yes, sir.
There's
some really good names this year in college football.
Man, that's crazy. All right, anyways, back to the actual stuff. All right, Brian, I don't know if you're listening still or not, but it is time to talk about Oregon. Purple Gatorade, says Brian? Oh, I don't know about that one, Chief. Purple is never the best flavor.
Purple Gatorade's like fourth to me.
Purple flavor anything is never the best flavor.
See, I disagree with you about that one because there are some purple flavored stuff that is really good, but also I don't want stuff to taste like grapes. I want it to taste like purple.
History repeats itself. This is what Brian says. History repeats itself. Ducks shock the nation opening the season with a huge upset in enemy territory. Oh, you mean like that time they upset Auburn?
You mean Ohio State?
No, that time they didn't. I'm being facetious. Whenever they played Auburn, I guess that was in Dallas, but then they lost that game on like the last play against. That was Bo Nix's first college football game. That was a good game. That was when they had Justin Herbert.
It was a good game, and now he plays for the Ducks.
Yeah, Ducks 35-28, says Brian. What you got? What you got in this one, Spencer?
That was the same score of the Ohio State game last year.
I guess you're right.
If you watched the last time we did a show, prediction. I said that the Ducks are gonna shock the world and beat the defending national champions in Georgia. I I'm going to stick with that pick, but let me defend it. Dan Lanning went from Georgia. He was the defensive coordinator.
I like Dan Lanning. I really do.
He went from the defensive coordinator at Georgia, and now he is the head coach at Oregon. Mm-hmm. Bo Nix transferred from Auburn to Oregon. Bo Nix has played against Georgia. He is currently 0-3 against Georgia. Uh-huh. But he's seen an SEC defense. He's seen Georgia. Dan Lanning knows what's going to go into this. They're coming off their first national championship since 1980.
Yeah.
They hadn't won one in 41 years, and they finally. I think they're going to come off. They're going to be a little bit championship high, riding high. Hey, we're the best team in the country. Stetson Bennett's a great quarterback. We got all these 5-star recruits. We got a really good defense, and then here comes Bo Nix in Oregon with all their speed and all their weapons and those great uniforms they're going to be wearing. I'm going to stick with Brian. Give me the Ducks 35-28.
Okay, interesting. I like it. I like the boldness. So, a couple things. Number one, you mentioned that Georgia's still going to be very high on their championship win. That is very possible. I don't know if they will be, man. And here's why. I think they're almost going to come in a little bit angry because we haven't been talking about Georgia a lot. We've been talking about NIL. We've been talking about coaching issues. We've been talking about lots of things in the offseason. We haven't really been talking about Georgia a lot. I don't know that Georgia feels... Maybe I'm wrong about this. Respected. I feel like they'll actually come in kind of like, hey, we're ready to do this again. We matter still, whatever it is. But that being said, another part of this you mentioned with Dan Lanning, which, by the way, I watched an interview with Dan Lanning. I think that this Oregon team is going to be very good this year. I think they're going to have a lot of wins. I think he's going to have them boys looking really, really nice, and I think their defense is going to be pretty damn good.
For the Pac-12 championship is my prediction for Oregon.
Definitely.
Come down and that game against. I don't know if they have to play Utah this year.
I think you're going to see a very early defensive game. Okay, because and the reason for it is because they know at Georgia what Dan Lanning likes to run defensively. Dan Lanning knowing now also knows that Kirby Smart and the OC whose name escapes me right now, he knows exactly sort of the type of things they like to run. Obviously things change from year to year, but the point I'm trying to make is both teams are going to be familiar because of the nature of their relationship with each other. So I think this is going to be a very early chess match, which actually in my mind favors Georgia more just because they're going to be more physical long term. We don't know a lot of those guys that are obviously, they had to change a lot about their defense. They had a lot of people leave for the NFL, but they have just more NFL talent ready to come up. So I think it's going to be a very slow, ugly game the first half, and one team is going to break away in the second half. The only way Oregon wins this game is if they get up like they did on Ohio State last year and they stay up, right? That game was very good, but it was only because the only reason they pulled that out is because they got up early and they sort of held that lead. If they can do that, I think that they have a chance to win this game. But if this is slow and kind of ugly and like a 10-6 affair going into halftime, Georgia's going to pull away with this because I think they can go. They can go the distance. So give me Georgia. I think that they are the favorite. I don't think they're going to win by 17 points, but I do think they're going to win by a pretty convincing margin. Probably a touchdown, maybe 10 points, but 17 is a little bit much.
Yeah, give me the Ducks by a touchdown.
It's going to be a good one. Spencer goes.
There's one game we didn't talk about. We didn't talk about the game I was thinking.
Well, let's go. I can write it down.
UTSA and Houston.
Okay. Let's pick it.
Houston, you remember conference champions last year, 11-1. They lost a fluke game to Texas Tech at the beginning of the season.
And they are bringing a lot of starters back.
They're bringing a lot back. Houston's going to be very good this year. UTSA also brought a lot of their. I think UTSA is going to be very good.
Ooh, you're right.
This is going to be like this is going to be like an exciting type of game. They're playing it in Houston. So I'm not going to make a pick for this one. This is I think we should do one game a week where we're just excited to watch. I'm not going to make a pick. No picks in this. I'm not making
no picks in this. I'm just excited. This is your recliner game.
To watch this game. This is for sure my recliner game, 100%.
Before we talk more about that, Brian says, funny that people say weather advantage for Georgia when Oregon summers are like 94 for 4 months and no one has AC. That is actually very true. So I visited Montana and Wyoming not too long ago. We went to Yellowstone, and it is very true. There's like, in that part of the country, there's just no air conditioners because it doesn't get stupid hot like it gets down here, right? Like it is a completely different. So you just don't have to. You have to have heaters, obviously, because it gets extremely cold. But yeah, no AC. But when it does get to 95,
well, Brian's
like that,
told me up in the PNW, the Pacific Northwest, he said it doesn't really get like it gets cold, but it doesn't get like crazy cold. Like obviously Wyoming, Montana, stupid cold. But Brian told me like up there in Oregon and Washington, it doesn't really get that bad.
Yeah, humidity has a lot to do with it as well, because I think like 95 here versus 95 here versus like 95 up there is very different because of the humidity down here. Like the whole dry heat thing, when it's as humid as it is, your sweat doesn't evaporate as fast, so your body can't cool down as easily, and so that's why there's a whole issue about like right. There's a whole hydration thing, and there's also like it feels hotter when it's more humid. So like it's a different kind of heat. But that's a valid point, Brian. It's like, yeah, you guys also don't have AC. You know, like that's a huge part of it. Almost never drops below 30. Really? Man,
that's crazy to think about.
Let's move to Oregon. What are we doing here? I'm tired of these summers. That sounds amazing.
Big Tech. Let's move to Portland. Let's go be with Brian. Big Tech City.
Let's go hang out.
Legal marijuana.
Let's go to Bend and just hang out and rent some movies at the last Blockbuster. Did you hear about that? Mm-hmm. Still
they're making a doc. Here's the craziest thing to think about. Netflix is making a documentary about Blockbuster. The last Blockbuster. They're making like a show, not a documentary. They're making like about the last Blockbuster, which is hilarious because Netflix is the people who put Blockbuster.
I think they already did that. I think I've watched it.
What kind of balls of steel do you got to have to put a company out of business? And then,
hey, here's what we did. You see this? Hey, you know what's funny though is like I don't know how much you know about it. Blockbuster, after Netflix proposed that they were going to like do what they were going to do, and they were like, "Hey, would you like to buy us as a service?" Blockbuster laughed at them, and they were like, "Get out of here, man!"
Like, no, that's one of the costliest mistakes in human history.
Same thing. The guy that owned the guy that made the Atari could have gave Bill Gates could have gave Bill Gates a $1,000 loan and didn't, and now we have the Xbox and the Atari is nowhere to be seen.
Like Alexander Graham Bell, guy who invented the telephone, had a guy come to him. He sent a letter to a guy and he was like, "Hey, do you want to buy the telephone patent for the telephone for me for $100?" And back then, that $100 was a lot of money. And the guy laughed at him. He said, "We don't have time for this children's plaything." And then the telephone became the single most profitable patent in the history of the world.
Sometimes, my man, you got to roll the dice, you know? That's just the bottom line. Which, by the way, I respect you rolling the dice in Oregon because I just don't see it happening. I think Oregon's going to be a good team this year, but they ain't beating Georgia. I'm sorry about it.
Anyway.
That ain't a prediction. That's a spoiler, my man. But I do like Houston. I'm with you. That's going to be a fun game to watch with you and UTSA. We're not making picks, right? But like, Houston's going to win that game, and they're going to win a lot of games this year. They're going to be very good.
Which is going to make my other prediction that I have about next game, about 2 weeks from now games. Yeah. Going to make those predictions look even better.
Houston is returning a ton of starters.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we've been going an hour and a half. We got a long show. Hey,
football's back, baby.
Football is back, son. Hey, man. I got nothing.
You got a song you want to listen to? Because I do.
Oh yeah. I do actually.
Me and Daryl are fans of one Connor Smith, who wrote the infamous song "I Hate Alabama." It's a country song, breakup song about him being a Tennessee Volunteers fan and falling in love with a girl who went to Alabama. He released a new song last Friday called "Orange and White," which is about him being a Tennessee Volunteer dating a girl who goes to Georgia. So be on the lookout. If Georgia beats Tennessee, he's gonna drop "I Hate Georgia." And then the next football season, we're gonna probably get a song from him talking about how he's dating a girl from. Anyway, go listen to "Orange and White" by Connor Smith. Conner Smith.
This man is single-handedly monopolizing the country music college football genre, and I'm so here for it, man. I really am.
Specifically for the SEC. But of course he is, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, Connor Smith. Go listen to him.
I need like a West Coast kind of new age alternative band to sing about some to sing about USC, and you know I need that now. That feels appropriate.
Yeah, I just feel like, it's harder to care about college football when you live in a city where you could just walk to the beach. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, what the hell am I going to a football game for? I can just kind of hang out and chill on the beach, watch the sun come up.
But anyway.
Well, my man.
That's the show, folks. Thank you for watching. If you're still in the chat,
yes,
Rojas,
seriously.
Brian, we got 5 in, including myself. We had 9 at one
Kent,
point.
Will, yeah, absolutely.
Will, Teddy, if y'all are still here.
I seriously thank y'all for dropping by. This was a fun show. We got some new stuff. As far as as you can tell, the layout is very different. We kind of modernized it a little bit. The display I thought was a little bit different. So we're making new year, new us. We're changing some things. The logo is different. We're trying to make sure
like this. I live in a new city now, so.
Hey,
but yeah.
And your Wi-Fi made it through the whole damn show. Isn't that shit crazy?
Wi-Fi made it through the whole time. There was an outage. There was an outage in my city, and they said that it might not come back until 7:30, and here we are. It's an hour later, and we had Wi-Fi the whole time.
Oh, so. Speaking of that, we got the backyard. Why can't I think of it? Backyard brawl. Hey, we got to go, man. It's 17-17. They're about to go into the fourth quarter. Hey, I'm going to go turn that on.
It's still on the TV. I'm about to go watch the fourth quarter.
Let me get the hell out of here. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching. Like the video, share the video,
Spencer,
subscribe.
Steven, Will, Teddy, Hector, Brandy, Victor, anybody that I work with. Chat, thank y'all for hopping in.
Hey.
All my coworkers, if you're in here, I'll see y'all in the morning.
And we'll see you.
The rest of y'all.
We'll see you next week, man. Take care.
Yes, sir.
Do I have a button like I have a fancy smancy? Like, should I do that? Do I do like a? Yeah.